With me is the top Portugal minister here in Delhi, representing Portugal at the India AI Summit. So, my first question to you: how do you see India hosting this mega AI summit, the first being hosted by a global South country?
I think it's very important. It's a very well organized conference with very concrete topics about Global South, but also the relation between Global South, Europe, and other partners in the world. Responsible regulation of AI is what everyone is talking about. How can we cooperate? Not to kill innovation, to promote innovation, but to promote innovation in a responsible way, in an ethical way. And I believe that the dialogue between the European leaders, the Indian leaders, including, of course, Prime Minister Modi, and also the President of Brazil, Lula da Silva, has been outstanding. There's a great understanding in the room that we need to promote innovation, to promote AI for the good of humanity, but always with an ethical and a human perspective and human-centered.
Um, Here in India, how do you see the use of AI and digital public infrastructure? We saw the French president lauding India, talking about his example of Mumbai vendor. You must have gone around, got a flavor of things. What's your sense like?
Well, my sense is that India has developed tremendously over the past years. There's a great pool of talent. There's also lots of infrastructure. But I had the opportunity to meet with several ministers from the Indian government and to establish cooperations with Portugal as well, because these partnerships are very important. What we have in talent in both India and Portugal, what we have in infrastructure, both in India and Portugal, in data centers, in gigafactories, AI gigafactories, that we are in both sides working. If we establish these partnerships, I believe we are able to achieve what we all want, which is to have a sovereign infrastructure that responds to the needs of our populations, of our peoples, and that is under proper regulation by the state. So the idea of sovereignty is also it's also very important. But for us, I believe, and for us in Portugal, clearly it's the idea. Sovereignty means partnerships, means working with other countries, means working with India to make sure that our companies can thrive in a responsible way.
You have already talked about it, but how do you see India and Portugal cooperating when it comes to AI? The Indian Prime Minister, the French President also talked about Europe and India working together at a time when the Americans and the Chinese are forming their own views about AI. So how do you see Portugal and India having this cooperation on AI?
I think it's very important, and as I mentioned, we have to cooperate. And sovereignty means cooperation, means that our companies must have empowerment. Our companies must grow, but they cannot grow alone. They have to grow with each other. They have to create these partnerships. They have to cooperate. So India, Portugal, and the European Union is a very important partnership for our companies to grow, and through that growth, gain sovereignty, which we all need at this time of our lives.
My last question to you, sir. How do you see India-Portugal relationship? How do you see the engagement between the two countries going forward?
I'm very hopeful. We just signed between the EU and India the free trade agreement, which is a milestone. It's a very important milestone. Immediately after that, we have this big conference on AI. Traditionally, we have a tradition of hundreds of years between Portugal and India, our countries together, our populations together. And I believe that the future is bright and there's lots of opportunities for collaboration, especially in these new areas for the mankind like AI and technology.
You mentioned about the FTA. How do you see FTA being a milestone in India-EU relationship?
I think it's very important because, of course, tariffs always get in the way. So Europe is clearly focused on concluding these FTAs at the moment, and particularly this FTA with India, between the European Union and India, is really a milestone and will facilitate immensely our commercial relations.
On that note, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION.
Thank you so much.
So there you have it, the view from Portugal with video journalist Neeraj Patel, Siddhant Sibal for WION in New Delhi.